Hello everyone, my name is Sangram and I'm a Salesforce developer. I have been working in Salesforce platform for around three and a half years or something like that. I work with various companies. I'm from India and I'm currently in India. And so when we talk about Salesforce, we have kind of a mixed feeling. I mean, whether we should invest our time in Salesforce or we should invest our money in that or resources or anything. Some people even means there would be people in the enterprise, so they would have been working for around 15 or 20 years maybe. They would also be sometimes skeptic about it. Ki, Salesforce, first of all, they do not understand what is Salesforce, and they are skeptic about cloud architecture itself. And why would they believe in Salesforce? And some people they favor Salesforce. They move their business to Salesforce, and there are many companies. Most of the companies I have worked with, because I'm working with the service industry, all the multinational companies in India, and also means multinational means they are multinational. So I'm based out in India, so I get to work here. So means many companies from like small businesses to big client, like beverage manufacturer, the biggest one. So they build their products, they manage their products in Salesforce, and many antivirus companies, many virtualization providers, the big ones. So they also do that. So you have to decide whether you want to listen to couple of people who are saying against the platform, or these big companies who are investing like millions and millions on Salesforce, and they want to move their business to it. So of course the licensing is not $1 million, something like that, but it's not cheap also. But if you do the cost benefit analysis, the existing architecture, existing infrastructure which you have, and if you move out to Salesforce, how the differentiation would be. So if Salesforce suits you, then definitely you should pick it up, because it's fast, and it can give returns very fast, and also the product would be stable because of so many things which I will go through. And I have made a couple of one list here and couple of items, so I will go through that. I will not only cover big businesses, I will cover regular people also who are looking for jobs, and those who also who just want to learn Salesforce. They are not looking for jobs, or they are not big companies. And also I will cover what students can build with Salesforce. So I will not leave anyone behind. So that's my motto of making this video. So let's get started. Here we go. The first thing is the first item in my list is it cheap for your business? Is Salesforce cheap for your business? Of course, you have to ask this question, because if you're running a business, so it's very quick that it will just get out of your hands, out of your control, and you can't manage it properly. Because the bigger the organization grows, so there will be more and more people involved there. So how would you track the progress of your organization? How would you get to know what people have done, the progress? You can't just call them and ask them to send mails. There has to be a better way, that estimated duration of particular task, and where the task is stuck, what is the deadline, and if the deadline is passed, so what you should do, all these things. And if you are the sole owner of the company, you can't possibly manage lakhs, and lakhs means it would be 10 lakhs means 1 million, so millions of because I'm from India, so we use different like standardization for currency. So Here we use lakh, and outside US and others they use dollar. So you get the point, right? So it's very fast that everything will get out of your hand. So you have to get into IT. Is you have to invest in your infrastructure, the IT. So you would have some website, and then there people can log in, and then they can get briefing about the task, because you cannot brief them all. Of course, you would have under your you will have your managers, so you have to brief them. So that's a way, but there has to be a kind of console way where you can track all the progress, dashboard or stuff like that. Of course, we all have in our company, and in big businesses also they would have something like that, so that you can calculate how much progress you have made and everything. So it basically boils down to investing in IT. So when you get that thing, when you take a decision that you want to invest in IT, so you should definitely give some thought to Salesforce also, and you should do the cost benefit analysis. Like if you are having a business, so you want to generate leads, so that of course you want to grow your business. So how will you generate the leads? So you should have a website, a web page basically. So your website is there, listing of products is there, so people want to buy them, that's fine, online shopping, that's thing. And otherwise, if they just have some question, like every customer, every person, it's not necessarily a buyer. Sometimes they just want to hang around, just see what's going on. So for them, you could present a form there. So, and that would be like a lead generation form. In Salesforce, we call it web to lead. Means from the website you can generate the leads, and then your representatives, they can reach out to them through mails, or if they have provided their phones, maybe through phones. So that's one way. So how much it costs, web to lead? It would be, if you buy the Salesforce license, so it will be free basically. Suppose you have some issues with your product, like there are something you have built, so something wrong with that. So person wants to get in touch with you, so you can't possibly let your service representatives keep receiving the call like day in and day out. So you want to have a kind of a log or something like that, a web page or something, where customer they can write about their issues, put the screenshots or something like that. And if you have provided them access, once they buy your product, so they get the access, so they can access that. And it's sometimes it happens that the product is not necessarily broken. Maybe the customer just forgot to turn the switch on, or maybe reset or something, or maybe something not necessarily due to a machine fault, but maybe some button is forgotten to be pressed or something. So those issues the customer can search over there, and if a similar issue has already been solved, so that can be suggested in the same page. So that's why we have Salesforce knowledge, and that can be integrated with the cases. So cases are nothing but tickets, means the issues associated with the product. So that's one way. If the customer can log into your org, of course you want to have them limited set of privileges, so that they can sort out their own issues. So what more you would want than customer solving their own issues themselves in a good user interface, and means they not necessarily they have to call each time for simple things, repeated things to your Salesforce, to your service representatives. How much that costs? And again, it's same as web to lead. If you have Salesforce license, so that's free. So these are the stuff. Means I'm just giving you a little taste of what is possible. Means if you have your business idea, and if you analyze it, what Salesforce can do for you. So if you find the cost benefit, that in a long run, how much it costs, how much you would save. So if you find that Salesforce is useful, you should go for it. Like from a common man perspective, if I would say, if I spend just 10 rupee per day, I'm citing this example from my own life. What happened is, last year I filed my income tax returns. Previously I never used to file because I thought that it's unnecessary, why we should file IT returns. But then this time I thought, because I'm a programmer, so I would be completely into the computers and I would not think anything what happens in the world. So I never thought anything like that. But this year, I thought it's so much time I had been doing coding, developing web pages, applications. Let's learn something new. So I picked some of the material to learn about our Indian history, world history, constitution, economics, and so many other stuff. So that time I got to know that IT return is a good thing, and if you are a good citizen, law-abiding citizen, you should file that. And I filed that, and the government, they when I filed that, so the government had to return me some cash, some money. So they gave me, and because while filing the IT return, if you are working in a company, so your employer would deduct some portion of your salary, and it would go to tax. If you would obviously be aware of that. So I used to pay the tax same way as everyone does, and this time government gave me 5,000. So I was happy because I thought, because 10, 15 rupees, 20 rupees. So if I say it in dollars, so I don't know how I will convert that. Let's do that real time, real quick. So if you spend like $1, $2 on something on daily basis, you wouldn't notice that. But at the end of the year, if you just receive like $5,000 or $2,000 suddenly, so you will feel that again suddenly this $2,000 has come from some source and from government. So you will start to think if it is $2,000 per year, so in a year how much it is? It's a very insignificant amount. So if you take the same exact psychology for your own business, each single penny, each single dollar that you spend, and if you just multiply by it every day how much you spend, so in a year it would be huge, and in 5 years, 10 years it would be even huge. With that money you could do something else, something more, something productive. Maybe take a new better employer, hire a better employee, better developer for your company. And if you want to have good developers, you have to pay them, otherwise they will not work, they will leave your company. So, and you will be in the end you will lose on, because the developer could go anywhere. So with that money, and I'm just giving one example, like how saving $2 to $3 per day could reap rewards in a long term. And if you just multiply it by many factors, like the bigger the enterprise is, it would be like millions and millions of dollars. So I'm just getting to that point. And that's why I'm giving this small example. So when you take a decision that you have to move your business to IT, you should definitely give it a thought that what Salesforce can do for your business and how the cost benefit analysis plays. You would have to get in touch with the consultant, he would do the analysis for you. So you will get that thing. And once you feel okay, you should go for that. So that's the basic thing I am trying to convey here. Next, let's talk about regular people. We are done with talking big businesses. Let's talk about regular people who are looking for jobs. Now, jobs specifically, since I am from an IT background, so I will talk about IT jobs. And when we talk about IT jobs, it's people get this thing that IT jobs are uncool and very frustrating, and we are stuck in IT. Even I get that feeling sometimes. So if you want to move to Salesforce, how it would it be good, or you want to stick to your existing platform, like if you are a Java developer, if you are a .NET developer, Ruby, Python, or any sort of platform. So if you take a decision that you want to move to Salesforce, so is it going to happen like that? Salesforce will shut down and you will lose your job. That thing, it can just happen to anything. It's sort of a intuitive decision or something like that. But if you ask me, the bottom line is everything is going to be moved to cloud. In, if not today, if not in 1 year, give it 5 or 10 years, everything would be moved to cloud. Everything would be accessible through phones, and everything would be everywhere. It would be IoT, Internet of Things, which I will get to that shortly in the same video. It's probably towards the end of this, so we'll get to that. That's really cool, and that covers that would excite some students also. So if everything is moving to cloud, so who are the big players in the cloud? You Google it, you will find it's none other than Salesforce. I'm saying from an infrastructure specific, from an enterprise specific. I'm not saying in general who is cloud player. There are many like that, like Google is there, Amazon, and so many others. And everyone provides a specific tailor-made application. And some provide just the platform. Like someone will provide you the servers or the database. So you have to build your own application on that. That is also cloud. But Salesforce is different from that. Salesforce targets only specific businesses and the industry trend which is going on. So that thing Salesforce target, and on that Salesforce is at top for many years now, and it started decades ago. Like I don't even remember when it started. So I got to learn about Salesforce in 2008 or 2009, I guess, sometime around that. But I really started working in Salesforce around 2011, towards the end of 2011. So, and then gradually it caught up with pace, and today, and not today, like for several years now, it's been on the top. And so there is a competitor like Microsoft Dynamics CRM is there. So I have not evaluated how that is, but today Salesforce it's there, and many customers, more and more customers. Like I gave the example in the starting of this video itself, hardware virtualization companies. I'm not naming the specific names, but the big ones, antivirus, security, and those things, providers, the biggest ones, and they are moving to Salesforce for their businesses. So you can just imagine that if a like an identity provider, security, this thing, antivirus provider is moving to Salesforce, of course it would have thought that how secure Salesforce would be. And I will get to that in a bit, that is it hackable or not, whether Salesforce can be hacked or not. So you can bet on it. If an antivirus company is taking Salesforce for their business, but definitely there is something to that. And you cannot just go with someone else saying, who doesn't know even what an antivirus is, saying anything about Salesforce, and you take his word, rather than here is a big enterprise is there and they are moving to Salesforce. Being an antivirus company, they move to Salesforce. So that's why Salesforce is secure. And since more and more customers are moving to Salesforce, definitely they will need the developers, they will need the administrators. And who will be those people? Those who learn and those who build applications around Salesforce. They would be the same people. So definitely there is jobs, more and more jobs coming. So if you learn Salesforce, and it's very high probability that you will definitely get a job, because it is relatively new compared to other platforms and languages like Java, .NET. They have been there for decades. So there would be so many people they would know about those platforms. Even I know about Java more than an average person. So think about a person who has been writing Java for years now. So, and when you two guys go for an interview, I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm just telling you the reality, the truth, that there are so many developers out there, Java, and Salesforce is relatively new, and there are very less people, relatively, not that like handful of people on planet Earth, not saying that, but less number of people. So definitely customers are growing because customers have more demand for Salesforce, so they'll need people, and they will be those who learn Salesforce. So jobs are there definitely, and it's even more in coming future. Let's talk about security. Is it hackable? Can Salesforce be completely destroyed? Like, it's on a cloud platform basically, and all the customers, they just hook into Salesforce. There is just one big central thing is going on. Even though it has multi-cluster database, and they would have recovery scenarios of Oracle multi-cluster database, so they would have recovery, so many infrastructure set up around that. So if someone gets access to like Salesforce core, like the kernel itself, inside that, and just deletes everything. So that's why just a few seconds ago I gave one example of that antivirus company, that security provider, moving to Salesforce. So if they can do, they are betting their life on this. So if a security company does that, definitely there is something to it, and we can also rely on that. The same software which we had been using for like our entire life. What are the softwares we use? The same one. I'm not saying the name because of other reasons, but the general ones which everyone uses in corporate. That software is very common, very very common. So that company has made this decision to move to Salesforce, their business. And alternatively, I can also say that security vulnerability exists in any platform. Like let's talk about normal Apache server. So Apache servers, if you see, not on daily basis, but quite frequently, they would have this 0-day vulnerabilities. And so what it means is, when a vulnerability arises, so the person who finds that, he may inform the community. If it is open source software, so he may wish to inform, or he may choose to take advantage of that. So if the vulnerability is not known to anyone, the security bug which can allow any attacker to access your system, so that is a 0-day. 0-day means no one knows. So such vulnerabilities, they can be there in any platform. It's not Salesforce, they can be in any platform. So I would say this is the common denominator, that anything is hackable. There's a famous hacker, Kevin Mitnick. He said, if you want to protect your system, better you just turn it off and keep it in a iron cage, and then disconnect it from all the networks, and disconnect the power supply also. I don't know why he went that extent to say that, but that may be a metaphor. But as long as computer has access to something, and in any way, like in an electrical way also, because all the equipments, they respond to certain electrical inputs, so that electrical inputs can also be generated not necessarily from the wires. It can be through different sources also. There was an experiment going on. I checked that like a while ago. Torsion fields. So torsion fields are something like a toroidal shape. Now I'm getting a little bit into physics. So what happens is, if you would have seen in the river or some stream, there would be like a torsion structure, like a spiral. So that field can be created by certain type of equipments, and that field is completely invisible. If you put your hard drive inside that, and then you read the hard drive, so the hard drive wouldn't detect no data. And if you keep the hard drive means at some place for some day away from that torsion field, after some time it will get back, and then when you put it back again, so it will respond. So that's an invisible field. There is no current like that, means no electromagnetic stuff. But I don't know how it does. Maybe it's I will take this. It can be a separate video if I talk about torsion fields. So there is an invisible force which can impact, which can bend these how the regular electronics would work. So anything is vulnerable to security. And even if you have put your and that hard drive is not necessarily needs to be connected to a computer. It can be just like a simple hard drive, and that would be completely wiped out. And if that stays in the torsion field, maybe it will completely wipe out. You cannot recover it again. So the security risks are always there. Means you cannot. It's impossible to secure a system because human only build that system. And if human can build something, it can be hacked, it can be cracked, and it can be destroyed. So I went too far. I don't know why the heck I'm talking about all this. So uh, yeah, so the you can take it for granted that some big software security providers, identity providers, they are investing in Salesforce and moving their own business onto this platform. So you can also bet on this, and you can be sure of the security. Let's move on to regular people who are not looking for jobs, also who are not big companies, also just regular people, and they want to just automate their tasks, like those guys who just do most of their stuff in MS Excel. So in MS Excel, the best you can do is use VB script and create pie charts and graphs, and then maybe connect it to an external system using the DLLs, because the DLLs are the compiled libraries written in several languages like C++ or C Sharp, and the VB script can access those files. So that's the best you can do. You can even call an external system HTTP call from that thing. So I must not deviate from the topic again. So this part is only for regular people. So there is no coding here. So I will get back. It means regular tasks which you do in MS Excel, that can be done in Salesforce also. And when you want some reporting, like historical data which you want to see how much data you have accumulated, and you want to reason about that, like on which date, which values are equal to this and greater than this, all these analysis that can be done in Salesforce, like out of the box. You just have to have Salesforce license, of course, and these simple tasks you wouldn't the license also would be free. It's a developer org, you can sign up for that, login.salesforce.com, and sign up for that, and you will get that license. And it's just you will get your access, like when you sign up for Gmail, the same way you sign up for Salesforce, and you can do all these things. Let's talk about students who are still in college, and they are taking a cool robotics project, and then they want that their robot should do some stuff automatically, like autonomously, and if it needs some data, some inputs, it should rely on a central location. So you can hook it up a central location if you have like Python, some kind of a Python coding skills or something. You can build a server and then connect it here, but in Salesforce also you can do. And the client library, now I am talking about students, so I can get into a little bit coding here. The client library would still be inside the robot. So if you are developing that in C or C++, so that would need to make a call out to an external system, and that database you do not have to set that external system you do not have to make. Like all the data can live there, and you can create like the relationship between the fields, complete backend you can create over there, and then this client can just connect back and forth, and you can put all your logic here. So if you want to have some kind of artificial intelligence and something, and the robot should do like natural, like something like translate, maybe Google Translate or something. So it can call that Google Translate. Of course, it can call the Google APIs directly. But let's say if you have some made up of some knowledge base in a system, so that can be put in the Salesforce, and then your robot can connect to that. So that is also possible. And if you want to take it to a real world, like more practical stuff, like you build a home automation system, and in that maybe the shower is not working, so the moment shower stops working, so it will notify you, And what happens is the shower will update a record in Salesforce, and then that record will, that update operation will be notified in your phone. And for that, you do not need to write an Android app. Forget about that. You do not have to write an Android app. It will automatically notify you. So this is the thing which Salesforce can provide you. And in our home, if any other device failure is there, and if you just want to, if you are on a vacation, so you have by no means you can fix all these things or ask a technician. What you can do is, as I mentioned, there is a web to lead, web to case. So web is just an interface. So actually you can directly invoke Salesforce from the client itself. So if some particular device is malfunctioning, so that can create a case, and that can send a mail to a particular company who has built that product, and maybe if maybe they can come at a later point of time, and that they can fix your stuff because you are on a vacation, of course. So they wouldn't ask you to come back from a vacation. So these are the things. These are things I have top of my head, and the list is big, really big, and it's already half an hour, and I cannot go on. I can talk about Salesforce for hours, like 4 hours. Sometime if you request, sometime we will talk. So these are the things, and to get started, you have to. They have their website help.salesforce.com. So, or just Google Salesforce itself. So they will give you so many information. So start exploring and see what Salesforce can do for you. Have a good day. Bye bye.